What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, CEO, MTS Nutrition, Chief Marketing Officer, TigerFitness.com, partner in the Ambrosia Collective, and creator of the Outright Bar. So we're going to talk about a little bit of lifting stuff today, all right? Get back to basics, but we're going to talk about some intensity techniques to take your workout to the next level. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to give you my suggestions and also my personal anecdote and experience. Now, this comes from the Tiger Fitness Facebook group. If you look down below in the description box, and go ahead and link it. It's the Tiger Fitness Facebook group, or you can just go in the Facebook search, put in Tiger Fitness group. I'm there, the whole crew's there. We answer questions, we have a good time, very supportive atmosphere. Great place to be. So let's talk about cluster sets versus forced reps. Both are intensity techniques meant to take your body beyond what straight sets can. Straight sets, such as 4x8, 4 sets of 8 reps, will give you stimulation, right? It'll get you that point. You can overload, you can increase your weight every workout, but it doesn't take you beyond what you would have done, right? So if you could do 8 reps with, let's say, 225, if you were to do, let's say, 2 reps, take a 30-second break, do 2 more reps, take a 30-second break, do 2 more reps, take a 30-second break, you could probably get 10 to 14 reps or even more. That's called a cluster set. A cluster set is essentially doing rest pause in essence, but you're looking at getting a certain number of reps after taking rest periods. So if you're doing, let's say I want to do 10 reps, but it's a cluster set, I'm going to do 2 reps. And instead of going beyond failure, instead of going to where my ATP is completely drained from my muscles, I'm going to do 2 reps. I'm going to rest, let everything regenerate, let my body kind of reset, do 2 more reps and do it over and over and over again. You could do this with squats. You only have to re-rack it. A lot of times if you're doing something like a squat, you could literally stand there and do, just breathe deep between sets. That's been a 20 rep squatting technique. That's another thing that was used back in the day. I think before it was even known as cluster sets, right? Now, another option is something you might have seen from Dorian Yates, or even when you watch my training videos, and that will be something known as forced reps. So forced reps are when, let's say you go to failure and you're barely getting that last rep. You come up, right? So what you do then is essentially your partner spots you and you keep going and you can't do 1 more rep, even with his help. To the point where if you're doing a bench press, your partner is literally rowing or deadlifting it up. That would be a forced rep. That's what Dorian built his physique on. It is my favorite of the intensity techniques. Now, let me just get into which I prefer. I personally don't like cluster sets. A lot of people like it. I love the theory behind it. However, for me, I'm a very unique trainer, and let me explain. I can go really hard, but I have to lock in. And it is so exhausting for me to lock in that I can't do it every set. If I do a regular workout where I do 4 sets of 8, they're going to be 4 really mediocre sets of 8, and I'll probably hit failure at around 6 reps because I'm just not mentally into it. However, let's say I could do 4 sets of 8 with 6 plates on each side on the leg press. If you gave me 10 plates on each side, said this is your 1 set that matters. I did this last week. I got 30 reps on the leg press with 10 plates on each side. If you were to just put me in there and not tell me it was my set, I would do maybe 4 or 5 reps. I was at the point where I had 2 spotters. I had Logan on one side, Brent on the other, and we went. It was to the point where my nervous system was screwed up for 2 days afterwards. It was that crazy of a set. But I really enjoy that kind of training because it allows me to overload. So my suggestion is, if you're like me, and if you can lock it in for 1 or 2 amazing sets, and your mind stays focused on that 1 set, you're able to really lock it in, really take it to the next level. I like forced reps. However, there's one caveat. I'm assuming you have a training partner. Now, the reason cluster sets are amazing is you don't really need a training partner, right? Like, let's say you set up on a machine, like a hammer strength machine, and you're not worried about crushing yourself with the weight. You go in, you hit your 2 sets of the bench press, you put it down. You rest for 30 seconds, take some deep breaths. You do some more. Rest for 30 seconds, take some deep breaths. Whereas if I just go all out, I'm gonna do less reps if I don't have a partner to give me those forced reps. So when looking at cluster reps versus forced reps, my thing is, it depends on, one, if you train with a partner. It also depends on if your partner is worth a crap. There's a lot of training partners who just don't know how to spot or who aren't strong enough to spot you on that, or might, just go crazy and do the whole lift for you. So you have to groom yourself a good spotter. If you have no spotter at all, I would go with the cluster sets. If you have a spotter that can spot you and you can really lock it in for a set, I'd go for force reps. Now, if you have a spotter, you just want to do something different. Hey, there's nothing wrong with giving it a shot. You know what? Do it. Try it. Do a cluster set. See if you like it. And if you start making progress, you start making gains and you're beating your old, let's say you used to be doing, say you're doing 225 for 6 reps and that's your main set. And you do 225, but you cluster set it, do let's say 1 set of 3 reps, then 2 reps, then 2 reps, and you end up getting 10 to 12 reps. That is still increasing your load. That is overloading. And as we know, progressive overload is the #1 way to stimulate your muscles to grow through training. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Hopefully that answered the question of forced reps versus cluster sets. And the bottom line is, train hard, progressively overload, and feed it in the kitchen, and the rest will come pretty much with what your genetics give it. If you're not gaining weight, eat more food. If you're not losing weight, eat less food. Aim to gain 1 to 2 pounds a week, 1 to 2 pounds a month. If you're bulking, aim to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. If you're dieting, protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight, fat at around 0.5 grams per pound of body weight, and fill in the rest of your necessary calories with carbohydrate. That's some basic stuff. All right, guys, we have many more, over 5,000 more videos on this channel right here. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and follow me. Facebook at Marc Lobliner, Instagram at Marc Lobliner, Twitter at Marc Lobliner. Appreciate you guys watching. That's not a game.